I will attempt to locate the other 3 5s from wherever they might be in the deck. So in other words, that's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. That should be, oh, you're going to be really mad. That should be the 5 of spades, the 5 of diamonds, and the 5 of clubs. God. Just infuriating. Oh. So, how do you learn something like that? Well,
molecular biology.
Really just a wasted adolescence, honestly. Disappointed parents. No, in reality, you have to study the works of the past masters. See, philosophers wish they could have dinner with Plato or Aristotle in ancient Greece. Artists wish they could paint with Leonardo da Vinci in Renaissance Italy. If I could go back in time, I would not sit in one of Einstein's lectures, nor would I discuss politics with Julius Caesar, or even plan battles with Alexander the Great, meditate with Buddha, compose music with Beethoven, or study the stars with Galileo. No, no, no. I would play poker with 3 legendary card cheats who I'm going to tell you more about. They are S.W. Ordonez, Di Vernon, and Walter Irving Scott. So, why these 3? In 1902, the mysterious S.W. Ordonez published The Expert at the Card Table, which is probably the most important book ever written on sleight of hand with playing cards. His name is an anagram. S.W. Ordonez backwards reads E.S. Andrews. But to this day, no one actually knows his true identity, which, considering that he was a card cheat revealing the secrets of his trade for money, is probably what he wanted. Now, Ordonez was a master at what's called stacking the deck. It basically just means to reposition cards to your advantage as you shuffle. In fact, he even published a simple formula for stacking the deck. It's so easy. I will recite it for all of you, and then you'll be able to go home and stack the deck yourselves. You don't believe me. Is this something about my face? Doesn't this look like a trustworthy face?
No.
Yeah, I feel like after everything I've done, that's a bit of a rhetorical question. So, again, it's a really simple formula. So I will put the 4 5s on top of the deck, and I'll leave them face up so that you can follow them. Now, here's the formula. Really easy. You take the top card and you put it on the bottom. It's easy, right? Then you undercut half the deck, you in-jog the top card, then you run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards, and then you shuffle off leaving the last card on top. Then you undercut to the out-jog, run 1, 2, 3, 4 cards, throw the break, run 1 card, in-jog the next card, run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards, and shuffle off. Then you undercut to the out-jog, drop everything below the break, run 1, 2, 3, 4 cards, throw, and you're done.
Naturally.
Easy. Easy. Not just the easiest thing. So you can recite the whole thing now, right? You've got it in your head? Maybe. The first couple steps, 1 step down, 38 to go. So let's see if the stack worked. On the first round, I receive a 5. They call this hand pocket 5s. They say 3 of a kind is really all you would ever need to get the money, but just to be sure, I stacked myself all 4 5s. Now, seated across from me, Di Vernon, a Canadian-born magician who revolutionized magic by tracking down card cheats, learning their secrets, and then teaching them to other magicians. Pretty much every card trick you see today owes some thanks to Vernon. Now, Vernon was a master at what's called beating the cut or controlling the cut, and I'll show you what I mean. I'll put the 5 of diamonds on top of the deck. Vernon could give those cards a cut, but still control the 5 of diamonds.
Oh.
Yeah. Imagine what I feel like watching this in the mirror every day. I'm like, what the hell? You know you get good when you fool yourself. That's when you know it's working out. Okay, this time I'll use the 5 of clubs. Maybe you think a straight cut's too simple. He could even give the deck 3 cuts like this, but still control the 5 of clubs. Sounds of frustration. This time I'll use the 5 of hearts. He could even cut the deck into 3 piles like this, but still control. What do you think? The 5 of hearts. Wow. At least 1, maybe 4 or 5, right? Although the question is, do you think an extra cocktail would have made the 3-card Monty easier or more difficult to play? Easier? Or you just need one now to forget the experience, right? Last but not least, the 5 of spades. Vernon could even give the cards what they call a strip cut or a running cut the way they do in casinos, and not only would he be able to control... No. Jesus. I do all this work, and all she does is look at the Monte cards. What do I have to do? You know what? Just for you, I'll do the cut again. I'll give the cards another running cut or another strip cut. I'll give the cards another cut. Not only would he be able to control the 5 of spades, but also the 5 of hearts, the 5 of clubs, and the 5 of diamonds. Now, useful skill to have in a card game, right? Just slightly, yeah. Now, seated to my right, Walter Irving Scott, known as the Phantom at the card table. During the first quarter of the 20th century, he made his living with what are called crooked deals. And I'll show you what I mean. I'll put the 5 of diamonds on top of the deck. Walter Scott could deal out a round of cards, yet somehow he would receive the 5 of diamonds. It's easy to see what's happening if I leave the 5 face up. When I deal to the other players, I'm pulling cards from directly underneath the 5. You can get your face a little closer. Is it helpful here? Do you want me to do the second deal right here? No, come on, look. The second card from the top is the ace of spades. The top card is the 5 of diamonds. Come on, a little closer. Okay, right. And then this card is the ace of spades. And then, of course, the 5 is still on top. Didn't help, did it?
No.
Significantly more difficult is what they call a bottom deal, where that 5 of clubs goes on to the bottom of the deck. There's a joke there. I'm not going to make it. I know you guys are making it in the back. Not going there. Those were the other 2 shows, not this one. Fair.
Also, Christine.
5 of clubs on the bottom of the deck. I will deal out, or I should say Walter Scott would deal out a round of cards. And then he would be able to deal 1 card to himself off the bottom. You can see that the 5 is no longer on the bottom of the deck because it is now in my poker hand. Now, in high-stakes games of cards, they make you use what's called a cut card. Basically, it's just a face-up joker that goes onto the bottom of the deck, and it pins in the 5 of hearts. Because right now, if I tried to do a bottom deal, I would deal the face-up joker, which would make it really obvious that I was cheating, right? Yet Walter Scott could even deal that 5 of hearts out from above the cut card. You can see that the joker is still there, but the 5 is gone because it's now in my poker hand. But the granddaddy of all the crooked dealing moves is the legendary center deal, where that 5 of spades literally goes into the center of the deck. Yet, Walter Scott could deal 1 card to each of the other players and then 1 card to himself directly from the center, the 5 of spades. Now, if I really were playing, he couldn't handle it. If I really were playing poker.
This doesn't have a nurse's bladder.
Claire's like it.
There's some things in shows that I just don't even know what to say. One of those times. Now, if I really were playing poker with these 3 giants, if 1 player was allowed to shuffle the deck and cut the deck and deal the cards, well, then that player would just win every single time. So we would have to divide up the responsibility so that 1 player would shuffle, another player would cut, and another player would deal the cards. And I'd also impose just a little extra handicap on each player just to push their skills to the limit. So for example, Ace would not be allowed to shuffle the cards in his hands like this. Instead, he'd have to shuffle them flat on the table, the way they do in casinos. So I will put the 4 5s on top of the deck. Ace would give these cards a series of shuffles. And during these shuffles, he wouldn't really be concerned with mixing the cards. Rather, he would be much more concerned with repositioning those 5s to stack them for a game of poker. And he would do it in just 4 shuffles or less. So this next one will be the 4th shuffle. And then the cards would be passed to Vernon to be cut. He wouldn't be allowed to just give the cards a straight cut. He'd have to give the cards one of those running cuts or strip cuts that we talked about earlier. Then the cards would be passed to Walter Scott to deal. Not only would he have to put a cut card on the bottom of the deck, but he would also have to burn a card every round. So in other words, he'd have to place 1 card aside, then deal 1 card to Ace, 1 card to Vernon, 1 card to himself. And look at that, there's the first 5, the 5 of clubs. I'm glad it showed up too. See, Ace would never stack the winning hand for himself. Way too obvious. Instead, he'd stack it for me, and then after the game, we'd split the money. Sneaky, right? Then, of course, Walter Scott would have to burn another card, deal 1 card to Erdnase, 1 card to Vernon, 1 card to himself, and look at that, there's another 5, the 5 of hearts. Pair of 5s. Then, of course, he would have to burn yet another card, deal 1 card to Erdnase, 1 to Vernon, 1 to himself, and there's that third 5, the 5 of diamonds. At Erdnase's day, they played a game called stud poker, and 3 5s was a very, very strong hand. Then he would burn 1 last card, deal 1 card to Erdnase, 1 card to Vernon, 1 card to himself, and there's that fourth and final 5, the 5 of spades. But see, Erdnase was a card cheat at heart. He wouldn't want to split the money, so he would have used those stacking shuffles to stack himself the jack of spades, the jack of diamonds, the jack of hearts, and the jack of clubs. But Di Vernon had read Erdnase's book. He wouldn't want to split the money with him, so he would have used those false cuts to position all 4 queens for his own hand. But Walter Scott was Vernon's biggest rival. He wouldn't want to split the money with him, so he would have used those crooked deals to deal himself all 4 kings, which means with the 4 5s, I've got the worst hand in the game. But luckily, I've been practicing, which means in just an instant I can switch those 5s for the ace of clubs, the ace of hearts, the ace of diamonds, and the ace of spades. Now, Jorge, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, wow. And thank you, that's very kind of you. I'm glad we agree. Honestly, at this point, if people aren't impressed, if we disagree, it's pretty awkward.
Can I ask you a question?
I don't know. I'm scared. I'm terrified.
Is that?
Oh, well, here's the 2 and then the cards and then the cards.
Okay.
You're a very curious person.
All right.
Suspicious. It's almost as if she doesn't trust me.
I wonder why.
Literally, that is why.
Shocking.
That is why. Well, I do, in fact, know what you're thinking. What you're wondering is, would it be possible for one person to combine all of these techniques into one final demonstration?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Just for you guys, I'll give it a try. This time, we'll be playing the game of bridge. Does anyone here play bridge?
No.
That's the rousing response I was looking for. One person. Well, this will be just for you then. I'm just kidding. All you have to know about bridge is that there are 4 players and then each player gets 13 cards. Now, I will give the cards some of those stacking shuffles from before. And then, of course, after you shuffle the cards, you always have to cut. And hopefully with those stacking shuffles, those false cuts, and some crooked deals, I should be able to deal myself the best possible bridge hand, starting with the king of spades, followed by the queen of spades, followed by the jack of spades, followed by the 10 of spades. You're probably getting a hint by now. Followed by the 9 of spades, yes, and the 8 of spades, and the 7 of spades, and the 6, and the 5, and the 4, and the 3, and the 2, and the ace of spades. But I would be a poor cheat if I didn't stack some good cards for my friends here. That's why I gave Walter, Irving, Scott the ace of diamonds, the 2 of diamonds, the 3 of diamonds, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7, the 8, the 9, the 10, the jack, the queen, and the king. I gave S.W. Erdnase all 13 clubs in perfect numerical order. And for Di Vernon, the father of us all, the second highest ranking suit, the ace through king of hearts. Thank you all so very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. Now, Jorge, I'm going to give you these cards as a souvenir. Oh, you're welcome. That's so nice. I'm going to give you these cards as a souvenir to take home with you. Well, they're in order, so I guess that increases the value a little bit. You know, honestly, it's a self-stacking deck. They put themselves in order, you'll make a fortune with it. Although, I'm noticing that her souvenir is kind of a lot cooler, because, like, it has the torn cards. Hey, but you know what? You've got the plastic detritus. This is where the real value's at. So, Jorge, I want to say thank you so much for helping out. Thank you so much for helping. You're still obsessed with the cards. You're still obsessed with the cards.
Are you mad, bro?
Thank you so much for helping out. I can get her eyes off the cards for a second. Thank you and good night. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked this video, please give it a like, and if you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel and following me on social media. If you're interested in taking private lessons, I teach magicians of all levels, or if you want to book a show, you can contact me by email or on my website. Links are in the description. I'll see you next time.